Okay, thank you. And this one for Clint. It was stated that state law dictates the taxes must be collected for a year, yet the BOC supersedes the law by saying we will get it all back. What guarantee is the BOC giving millage rates won't increase like Rockdale County?
I think first of all, there's two answers to that question. The first one about the full year of collection of sales tax before the homestead exemption kicks in. The reason for that is they need to know what a full year of sales tax brings in before they can calculate that homestead exemption. Again, in Cherokee County, based on current numbers, it would be 100%, and then there'd be a significant amount left over. But just like was mentioned in Rockville County, that's not always the case. So you've got to know what that amount is before you calculate the homestead exemption. But what Cherokee has voluntarily decided to do in the interim is go ahead and use the money prior to that they receive, whatever that is, prior to setting that millage rate, and roll back all property taxes with that. Now, that's their decision to do that. The law doesn't say they have to do that, but they can do that. From a policy standpoint, they've chosen to do that. So the homestead exemption itself doesn't really kick in until 2015, but everybody's going to start getting some property tax relief in the first year because of the policy decisions that they've made to go ahead and take whatever that money that comes in 2013, part of 2013, and then all of 2014, and go ahead and apply it across the board to all properties. So what will happen in 2015 is actually the homeowners, their benefit will jump up a little bit, and for all non-homeowners, their benefit will go down a little bit once the homestead exemption kicks in, is the effect of that. And then I think the second part of that question was about the millage rate and what guarantees that they won't raise the millage rate. Again, because this is a homestead exemption, it doesn't have any impact on the millage rate. The county still has to go through the setting of the millage rate every year. That's a function of how much other types of revenue that they bring in, how big is their budget, how big are their expenditures for the upcoming year, and then how much do they need to fill that gap. Then they have to then set that millage rate based on the current tax digest, based on the value of the properties in the county. There's so many variables there in going into setting that millage rate, but they still have to make that decision. So it's not going to alleviate the citizens' responsibility for watching that every year. I mean, the citizens of Cherokee County are, just because there's a host in place, are still going to want to hold their elected officials accountable every year for setting that millage rate, just like you do right now. So if the millage rate goes up, then you're going to need to be asking the same questions you do right now. Why is the millage rate going up? Why do what is going on? Obviously, lately there's been a decline in the values in the tax digest, but none of that goes away. All that stays in place. If you ever get to a point where the sales tax revenue doesn't cover 100%, obviously there's going to be some political fallout, I'm sure, for that. So same process still works. Politically, you still have to hold your elected officials accountable. There is no silver bullet. There is no safeguard in the law that says, look, this is the maximum amount of millage that they can collect, or this is the maximum amount of revenue they can collect, and you never have to worry about showing up for another county commission meeting or monitoring what your county commissioner is doing anymore, because you're never going to, the millage rate's never going to go up again. You've got to continue to monitor that. Again, this is just a way of taking some of that cost and shifting it to sales tax and shifting it off of property tax. But the total cost is still there for government. The cost for running Cherokee County is not changing. So you all still have a vested interest in making sure Cherokee County is run as efficiently as possible for the lowest amount of dollars possible. That doesn't change in all of this.
We've tried that in the past. It hasn't worked. So that's why I asked the question.